Welcome, dear listener, to a tale woven from the threads of ancient Greece. Imagine the wind carrying whispers across marble temples. The sun rests golden on the hills, and the sea hums with quiet strength. Yet beneath this calm surface, the world begins to tremble. Far below the earth, ancient powers stir with restless energy. The giants, children of the earth, awaken from their long silence. Their footsteps echo like thunder rolling through the mountains. Mortals gaze upward, hearts heavy with fear and wonder. The gods upon Olympus feel the weight of this awakening too. In the council of divine voices, the question stirs. What must be done? For brute force alone cannot mend the balance of the world. It is here that one voice, clear and steady, rises above the rest. Athena, goddess of wisdom, guardian of thought and strategy. She does not tremble before shadows or the size of her foes. Her eyes see further, into the heart of chaos and fear. Tonight we journey with her into the story of giants, a story where wisdom stands firm against towering might, where courage wears the face of clarity and calm resolve. This is Athena and the Battle of Giants. Settle in, let the tale guide your imagination, and let it begin. The air was calm, like a gentle pause before the world remembered to breathe. Mount Olympus shimmered beneath the golden light of day. Clouds drifted lazily, soft and glowing, like cushions for the heavens. The gods sat in their high thrones, watching the lands below in silence. For a time, harmony stretched across mountains, rivers, and seas. Mortals worked in their fields, sang songs, and offered prayers. The seasons moved with steady rhythm, like music written in the sky. Birds wheeled above in arcs of freedom, their wings slicing the blue air. The forests whispered quietly, their green crowns swaying to ancient tunes. It was a time when nothing seemed broken, nothing out of place. But within the deep places of the earth, something stirred. Beneath roots, caves, and molten veins, there lay a restless silence. It was not the silence of peace, but of waiting, long and patient. The ground itself felt heavy, carrying a secret older than memory. Mortals did not know, though some dreamed of shadows rising. Their dreams were filled with shaking soil and distant thunder. Shepherds in the hills woke in fear, though no storm had come. Fishermen looked to the horizon and saw waves move without wind. The signs were there, scattered like warnings in the fabric of life. Yet above, the gods kept their gaze steady and serene. Zeus, with thunder at his command, listened to the winds. Apollo's lyre filled the sky with notes that kept balance alive. Demeter blessed the crops, making fields lush with golden grain. And Athena sat still, watching, thoughtful, her eyes sharp as dawn. She felt the change before it was spoken, before it was seen. The world was breathing differently, as if preparing for something vast. The stillness held a weight, like air before a summer storm. A single feather fell from the wings of an owl, drifting slowly. It landed upon her palm, light, but speaking of hidden truths. Athena closed her hand around it and listened to the silence. For she knew that silence is never empty, it always speaks. Far below, in the unseen caverns of the earth, echoes began to grow. It was the sound of something ancient, something boundless, awakening. Not evil, not cruel, but immense, raw, and untamed. The earth shivered, not in fear, but in recognition of its children. For the giants, born of the land itself, were stirring once more. They had slept in the dark, beneath stone and soil, forgotten. Time had wrapped around them like vines, keeping them hidden. But now those bonds loosened, one after another, like breaking chains. The first tremor ran through the hills, so soft it could be missed. Yet shepherds noticed, and sheep stumbled, uneasy on the ground. A second tremor followed, longer, deeper, carrying a voice beneath it. The sea itself heaved, a wave rolling without wind or tide. Sailors looked skyward, confused, their prayers rising hurriedly. Mountains sighed, their roots aching with the pull of something vast. The giants were not yet seen, but their presence was undeniable. A tension spread, thin but sharp, across both mortal and divine hearts. Olympus grew quiet, the laughter of gods fading into uneasy silence. Even Apollo's strings paused, the song cut short in mid-breath. Hera turned her eyes toward the horizon, lips pressed tight. Poseidon stirred in his depths, the oceans restless with his thought. Only Athena remained calm, her gaze steady, her heart listening. She had felt this before, in stories told by the ancients. Stories of balance, of power rising when wisdom was most needed. The calm before the storm was not meant to frighten her. It was a call, an invitation to prepare, to understand. For peace is never endless, and harmony always invites challenge. Athena whispered to herself, soft and sure, words no one else heard. The world is ready to change, and I must be ready with it. The feather in her hand trembled once, then stilled again. Above, the sun burned brighter, as if holding back the dark. Below, the earth gathered strength, preparing to show its hidden face. And between the two, mortals carried on, unaware of what stirred. The calm stretched on, fragile, beautiful, and full of meaning. It was the calm before the storm, the breath before awakening. And soon, the silence would break, and the story would truly begin. Deep within the hidden folds of the earth, the stirring grew louder each passing hour. The silence that once felt patient now carried an urgent beat. It was like a drum, steady and slow, echoing through caverns unseen. The giants, children of earth and stone, were waking from their long slumber. One by one, they stretched their vast forms, shaking loose the ages of stillness. Dust cascaded down ancient caves, and rocks tumbled into deep chasms. The mountains groaned as if alive, shifting to make space for their return. No mortal eye saw them fully, yet their presence filled the land. Each breath they took rumbled through soil and roots like rolling thunder. The rivers quivered, their waters dancing nervously on trembling banks. Trees leaned, their branches swaying though no wind had touched them. Birds took flight, unsettled, flocking toward distant skies of safety. The giants rose taller, their shadows unseen yet felt in every heartbeat. They were not born of cruelty, but of raw force and boundless scale. Their voices were not words, but deep sounds echoing like mountains shifting. The earth answered them, for they were its children, fierce and vast. In villages, mortals sensed the weight of something immense stirring. Farmers paused in their fields, hands gripping tools with unease. Mothers hushed children, sensing change, though no danger was yet visible. The sea carried strange ripples, and sailors whispered of omens. The animals grew restless, as if instincts told them the truth first. Everywhere, signs bloomed like sparks before a fire. And far above, on Olympus, the gods leaned forward in unease. The laughter of banquets grew quieter, replaced by tense murmurs. The great halls echoed with silence, even as torches burned bright. The awakening of the giants was not unexpected, but never welcomed. It was said that when the earth shifted, its children would rise, and now the prophecy breathed life before their watchful eyes. Zeus gripped his scepter, his gaze sharp as lightning above the clouds. Poseidon stirred, his oceans restless, the salt winds thick with warning. Hera frowned, her voice heavy with caution, eyes searching the horizon. But it was Athena who listened most carefully to the earth's call. Her heart was not moved by fear, but by sharp understanding. She knew the giants' rising was not chaos without reason. They did not emerge simply to destroy, but to demand their place. Power unshaped by wisdom always seeks to test its bounds. That was the truth Athena carried in her steady, thoughtful gaze. The giants, meanwhile, stretched into the world with growing boldness. Their steps, though unseen, shook dust from the oldest cliffs. Mountains cracked faintly, like old bones adjusting in their sleep. The valleys quivered, streams bending and reshaping their paths. A voice rose among them, low and vast, filled with yearning. It spoke not in words, but in a rumble of ancient longing. The world had grown without them, and they hungered to be known. They were reminders of Earth's oldest strength, unshaped and untamed. Their awakening was a call, not just to mortals, but to gods. On Olympus, the council began to murmur and debate. Voices rose and fell, some firm with caution, others sharp with worry. Some gods wished to strike, before the giants grew too bold. Others urged patience, reminding that force alone may fail. And in that growing noise, Athena's silence was most commanding. Her wisdom was like a calm river flowing through a storm. She watched, waited, and studied the unfolding rhythm of the earth. She knew the giants could not simply be opposed with strength. To meet them would require more than thunder, flame, or wave. It would require balance, strategy, and the clear vision of wisdom. Still, below the giants rose higher, their power undeniable. They stretched arms that seemed to reach the very edge of sky. Their shadows fell across the horizon, unseen yet heavy as stone. The air grew thick, carrying their restless energy into every breath. Mortals trembled, though they did not know why their hearts raced. The awakening was no longer a whisper. It was a roar of presence. And soon, the world would feel the full weight of their return. The giants had risen, and the story of balance had begun anew. High upon Mount Olympus, the council of the gods was called to gather. The halls gleamed with marble pillars rising like frozen thunder. Golden light poured through high windows, casting long shadows across the floor. The air was thick with tension, as if silence itself held its breath. One by one, the gods arrived, their presence filling the chamber. Zeus sat at the center, his throne carved with storms and lightning. Hera, regal and stern, settled beside him with steady grace. Poseidon's trident gleamed, salt water dripping as oceans stirred around him. Apollo carried his lyre, though no music left its strings today. Artemis leaned silent in shadow, eyes sharp as the edge of night. Hermes flickered at the edge, restless, wings trembling with unspoken words. Hephaestus arrived with sparks still clinging to his calloused hands. Demeter's presence brought the scent of harvest, though her face was troubled. The gods did not speak at first, only exchanged uneasy glances, for each had felt the tremors that signaled the giants' awakening. The floor itself seemed to hum with echoes of the earth. Finally, Zeus rose, his voice like thunder rolling across endless skies. "The earth moves, and its children rise again," he declared. "This is no small disturbance, but the stirring of ancient power." His words carried weight, pressing into the hearts of every listener. Some gods shifted uneasily, gripping their weapons or symbols tighter. The thought of giants roaming free again was heavy with memory. Long ago, their battles had shaken heaven and earth together. Though no blood was spoken of, the scars of that time lingered. Now, the cycle threatened to repeat, and Olympus felt the shadow. Hera was the first to answer, her tone steady yet sharp. We must not delay. The longer we wait, the stronger they grow. Her eyes searched Zeus's face, demanding action, swift and certain. Poseidon struck his trident lightly upon Shawis, the floor, the sound deep. The seas already stir with unrest. If they rise further, waves may follow. His words were not fear, but warning, a reminder of vast consequence. Apollo spoke next, softer, though no less urgent in tone. The harmony of the world is trembling. The lyre cannot stay in tune. His gaze lifted as though he still sought music in chaos. Artemis added with quiet steel, mortals will feel their presence first. They will not understand. Fear will spread like fire in dry woods. Demeter's hands clenched, her voice heavy as autumn storms. If the land is shaken, the harvest will fail. The people will starve. The voices rose, overlapping, carrying worry, anger, and restless pride. Each god sought an answer, though no answer yet appeared. Zeus raised a hand, silencing the chamber with his command. But before he spoke, another voice rose, calm and clear. Athena stood, her armor gleaming softly, her eyes sharp with thought. Unlike the others, she did not frown nor let fear guide her. Father, and all assembled, we must not mistake power for victory. Her words floated in the chamber, steady, firm, undeniable. The giants rise with strength, but strength without direction falters. Thunder may strike, waves may crash, but chaos cannot be silenced by chaos. Her gaze turned toward the gathering, meeting each divine eye. We need not rush with haste, nor strike blindly at shadows. What is needed is wisdom, strategy, and understanding of their cause. Murmurs filled the chamber, some doubtful, others thoughtful in silence. Hermes tilted his head, curiosity sparking in his restless eyes. Hephaestus stroked his beard, considering the weight of her words. Even Hera, though stern, could not dismiss the steadiness in her tone. Zeus studied her longest, his thunderous gaze locked with hers. In Athena's voice, he heard not defiance, but clarity of vision. He leaned back in his throne, the storm in him quiet for now. The council sat in silence, her words echoing in their hearts. Outside, the wind shifted, carrying the scent of earth and storm. The tremors below continued, growing stronger, carrying the giants upward. But within Olympus, a seed of thought had been planted. It was not lightning, nor flame, nor ocean's roar. It was wisdom. Athena had spoken, and her words lingered like dawn before sunrise. The gods did not yet know what path they would take, but the story of the council had begun, and so had her role. Athena stood tall among the gathered gods, her presence calm yet commanding. Her armor gleamed faintly, reflecting light without the weight of vanity. In her hand, she held her shield, not raised, but resting with intent. Her owl circled above, its wings silent, eyes glimmering with sharp wisdom. The council had been filled with voices of fear, anger, and urgency. But now all eyes turned to her, waiting for clarity to emerge. Athena's voice rose steady, carrying like a river flowing through stone. Giants rise with strength, but we must answer with more than strength. Her words drew silence, pressing into the hearts of every god. For none could deny that wisdom was often the sharper weapon. She paced slowly, her footsteps echoing across the marble floor. Their power comes from the earth itself, from roots and stone. To challenge them with raw force is to strike the mountain with a fist. It is not the fist that breaks, but the hand that weakens. She lifted her gaze, her eyes sweeping across the divine assembly. Zeus studied her carefully, his storm-filled eyes calmer now. Hera's lips pressed tight, torn between caution and reluctant respect. Poseidon leaned forward, the sea whispering through the lines of his face. Apollo tilted his head, his fingers brushing the strings of his lyre. Hermes shifted restlessly, eager for words that might reveal a plan. Athena raised her shield slightly, the emblem of Medusa shining faintly. This shield is not for striking, but for reflection and protection. Wisdom reflects the truth of power back upon itself. Her owl descended softly, landing upon the edge of her throne. Its eyes glowed in silence, a reminder of vision beyond sight. The giants are fierce, but they are not mindless, she continued. They seek presence, they seek recognition, they seek to test balance. If we rush with rage, we only fuel their rising fire. But if we meet them with thought, we guide their course. The chamber filled with murmurs, voices rising in uncertain tones. Hermes finally spoke, his tone quick, curious, and edged with challenge. Then what do you propose, wise Athena? Speak clearly to us. She did not flinch, her words calm, steady, as if already decided. I will face them first, not with weapons of war, but with strategy. I will stand upon the earth and let wisdom answer their roar. A silence followed, heavier than the tremors rising from below. The gods looked to Zeus, whose gaze lingered long upon his daughter. His voice, when it came, was softer than thunder, yet resolute. You would walk among them, where their steps shake mountains? Athena bowed her head, not as submission, but as respect. Yes, Father. For wisdom must walk where strength alone cannot. Hera's eyes narrowed, concern weaving through her regal composure. Do not mistake calm for safety, Athena. Giants do not bow easily. Athena met her mother's eyes, her own gaze unwavering and sure. I do not seek their bowing, but their understanding of balance. Poseidon grunted, shifting as if the sea itself stirred inside him. The tides will follow your steps, goddess. The ocean will not abandon you. Apollo added gently, plucking a single note that shimmered in the air. Light will guide you, though shadows grow deep where giants tread. Even Hermes smirked, his wings quivering with restless loyalty. If you walk into the storm, I'll carry whispers faster than fear. One by one, the gods offered their silent forms of support. Not all with words, but with glances, nods, and unspoken resolve. Athena felt their weight, not as burden, but as strength shared. She raised her spear, not as threat, but as symbol of intent. Its tip gleamed like dawn, breaking the horizon, quiet yet unstoppable. The giants rise, she said, her voice steady and unbroken. But wisdom will rise to meet them, and the balance will endure. Zeus finally rose, his scepter striking lightly against the floor. So be it. Let Athena face the earth's children with wisdom's shield. The council ended, though the tension still lingered in the air. As the gods dispersed, Athena stood a moment longer in silence. Her owl spread its wings, the sound soft, yet filled with promise. She whispered not to the council, but to herself. Calm and firm, this path is mine, and I will walk it with clarity. Outside, the tremors of the giants grew stronger, shaking root and stone. But upon Olympus, the goddess had chosen her path, unwavering. Athena had stepped forward, and the story had begun to turn. Beneath the sky of dawn, Athena descended from Olympus, her steps measured and calm. The clouds parted gently as though the heavens themselves cleared her path. Her owl glided ahead, wings stretched wide, eyes shining like stars at twilight. Each beat of its wings whispered of wisdom carried through unseen winds. The earth trembled faintly, not with malice yet, but with awakening. Mountains shifted, roots stirred, and rivers quivered with ancient memory. The giants had not risen fully, but their presence rippled beneath the soil. Athena paused upon a hill, her gaze sweeping the land stretched below. The valleys were quiet, but silence itself held an uneasy breath. Villages slept unaware, their fires dim, their hearts untouched by fear. Yet Athena knew that peace was fragile, a glass resting on trembling ground. She whispered to her owl, though the words were more for herself. Wisdom must walk ahead of fear, or fear will lead the path. The owl turned its head, as if acknowledging the weight of her thought. Athena continued forward, her shield resting easily at her side. The air thickened, carrying the scent of soil, stone, and storm. Soon she reached a forest, ancient trees rising like silent guardians. Their branches creaked with voices of time, deep and endless. She moved with reverence, touching bark, hearing whispers in the wind. Here, the earth spoke more clearly, the giants closer to the surface. A low hum vibrated through her feet, steady and unrelenting. The forest floor quaked softly, as though preparing for a great awakening. Athena knelt, pressing her palm against the trembling ground. She closed her eyes, allowing silence to fill her, steady and sure. Visions stirred within her mind, faint shapes forming in shadow. She saw great figures rising, bodies woven from stone and root. Their eyes burned with fire, not of rage, but of longing. Longing to be seen, longing to be recognized by the heavens. Athena opened her eyes, her breath calm, her heart steady. The giants were not merely forces. They were voices of the earth. She rose, her gaze set firm upon the path ahead. From the forest's edge, the land opened into wide plains. The tremors grew stronger, echoing across the vast fields of grass. Birds took flight in sudden bursts, as if startled by unseen hands. The owl swooped low, circling back to her shoulder in silence. Athena's armor caught the first light of morning, glowing faintly. She whispered again, this time with certainty more than reflection. Strength may shake the ground, but wisdom steadies the horizon. Her voice carried into the wind, as though the land itself listened. And then the sound rose, a deep, resonant rumble, like mountains sighing. The first of the giants stirred beneath the soil, their presence vast. The earth split slightly, not in destruction, but in restless movement. A hand of stone broke the surface, covered with moss and roots. Athena did not draw her spear, nor lift her shield in defense. She stood firm, her eyes fixed, her breath calm and unwavering. The giant's head emerged slowly, eyes glowing with primal light. Its gaze met hers, curious, uncertain, not yet fierce. For a moment, time held still, as dawn wrapped them both in gold. The owl hooted softly, a sound of patience, not alarm. Athena lifted her voice, speaking not with command, but with clarity. Rise, child of earth. I see you, and I will listen. The giant froze, its vast body half shrouded in soil and stone. No roar came, no violent strike, only a deep, rumbling breath. Athena's words hung in the air, bridging silence with recognition. She did not fear, nor did she yield, but met its gaze. The earth groaned again, softer now, less like warning, more like reply. Other tremors echoed in the distance, more giants stirring, awakening. Yet in that moment, it was not battle that began. It was the first meeting of wisdom and strength, eye to eye. The plains shimmered in morning light, as though holding their breath. And Athena, calm and resolute, stood ready to hear the earth speak. Beneath the sky of dawn, Athena descended from Olympus, her steps measured and calm. The clouds parted gently as though the heavens themselves cleared her path. Her owl glided ahead, wings stretched wide, eyes shining like stars at twilight. Each beat of its wings whispered of wisdom carried through unseen winds. The earth trembled faintly, not with malice yet, but with awakening. Mountains shifted, roots stirred, and rivers quivered with ancient memory. The giants had not risen fully, but their presence rippled beneath the soil. Athena paused upon a hill, her gaze sweeping the lands stretched below. The valleys were quiet, but silence itself held an uneasy breath. Villages slept unaware, their fires dim, their hearts untouched by fear. Yet Athena knew that peace was fragile, a glass resting on trembling ground. She whispered to her owl, though the words were more for herself. Wisdom must walk ahead of fear, or fear will lead the path. The owl turned its head, as if acknowledging the weight of her thought. Athena continued forward, her shield resting easily at her side. The air thickened, carrying the scent of soil, stone, and storm. Soon she reached a forest, ancient trees rising like silent guardians. Their branches creaked with voices of time, deep and endless. She moved with reverence, touching bark, hearing whispers in the wind. Here, the earth spoke more clearly, the giants closer to the surface. A low hum vibrated through her feet, steady and unrelenting. The forest floor quaked softly, as though preparing for a great awakening. Athena knelt, pressing her palm against the trembling ground. She closed her eyes, allowing silence to fill her, steady and sure. Visions stirred within her mind, faint shapes forming in shadow. She saw great figures rising, bodies woven from stone and root. Their eyes burned with fire, not of rage, but of longing. Longing to be seen, longing to be recognized by the heavens. Athena opened her eyes, her breath calm, her heart steady. The giants were not merely forces. They were voices of the earth. She rose, her gaze set firm upon the path ahead. From the forest's edge, the land opened into wide plains. The tremors grew stronger, echoing across the vast fields of grass. Birds took flight in sudden bursts, as if startled by unseen hands. The owl swooped low, circling back to her shoulder in silence. Athena's armor caught the first light of morning, glowing faintly. She whispered again, this time with certainty more than reflection. Strength may shake the ground, but wisdom steadies the horizon. Her voice carried into the wind, as though the land itself listened. And then the sound rose, a deep, resonant rumble, like mountains sighing. The first of the giants stirred beneath the soil, their presence vast. The earth split slightly, not in destruction, but in restless movement. A hand of stone broke the surface, covered with moss and roots. Athena did not draw her spear, nor lift her shield in defense. She stood firm, her eyes fixed, her breath calm and unwavering. The giant's head emerged slowly, eyes glowing with primal light. Its gaze met hers, curious, uncertain, not yet fierce. For a moment, time held still, as dawn wrapped them both in gold. The owl hooted softly, a sound of patience, not alarm. Athena lifted her voice, speaking not with command, but with clarity. Rise, child of earth. I see you, and I will listen. The giant froze, its vast body half shrouded in soil and stone. No roar came, no violent strike, only a deep rumbling breath. Athena's words hung in the air, bridging silence with recognition. She did not fear, nor did she yield, but met its gaze. The earth groaned again, softer now, less like warning, more like reply. Other tremors echoed in the distance, more giants stirring, awakening. Yet, in that moment, it was not battle that began. It was the first meeting of wisdom and strength, eye to eye. The plains shimmered in morning light, as though holding their breath. And Athena, calm and resolute, stood ready to hear the earth speak. Athena ascended once more toward Olympus, her steps firm upon the winding path of clouds. The air was clear, yet heavy with thoughts that pressed upon her mind. Her owl glided close, wings catching the golden light of midday. Behind her, the earth still quivered with the giant's slow awakening. But within her heart, there was no fear, only a growing resolve. She carried their voices now, heavy as stone, yet sacred in weight. When she reached the marble gates, the gods were already gathered. They turned as one, their gazes sharp, their questions unspoken. Zeus's throne loomed above, his storm-filled eyes fixed upon her. Hera's face was measured, though shadows of worry crossed her brow. Poseidon's trident gleamed faintly, restless as waves waiting for tide. Hermes leaned forward, wings trembling, eager for the tale she bore. Apollo sat with his lyre resting silent, as though music held its breath. Athena stood tall in the hall, her voice calm, her words clear. I have met the first of the giants, and I have heard their call. They do not rise in blind rage, but in longing to be seen. Murmurs spread through the chamber, voices low, uncertain, divided. Some gods frowned, others shifted uneasily, their hands gripping weapons. Hera's voice rang out, steady, firm, touched with doubt. Longing may wear the mask of peace, but fire may burn beneath. Athena did not waver, her eyes bright, her words flowing sure. I looked into their gaze, and I saw not rage, but sorrow. They rise because silence no longer holds them in the earth. Poseidon's deep voice rumbled like waves against cliffs, sharp and wary. Yet, if they walk the land, mountains will crack and seas will roar. Athena nodded, acknowledging truth without denying the cost. Yes, their steps shake the world, but chains will not still them. Only balance will, only recognition, only wisdom shared between sky and earth. Zeus leaned forward, thunder in his voice, though softened with thought. You speak of balance, but balance is fragile. Can wisdom hold mountains still? Athena raised her shield, not as weapon, but as symbol of reflection. Wisdom does not still mountains, Father. It teaches us how to walk among them. Apollo lifted his gaze, his voice quiet, yet carrying harmony. If their song is sorrow, then perhaps light may weave a new melody. Hermes smirked faintly, restless wings twitching, eyes gleaming with curiosity. Or perhaps they wait only to strike when we are lulled by words. Athena turned to him, her voice gentle but steady as stone. Even if that were so, is wisdom not the first shield before battle? Her words silenced him, though his gaze lingered with reluctant respect. The hall grew quiet, the gods waiting for Zeus's final judgment. He sat in thought, storms shifting behind his deep, unblinking eyes. At last he spoke, his voice like rolling thunder across a calm sky. You have carried their voice to us, daughter, that I cannot deny. But words alone cannot bind the earth, nor still its restless children. Athena stepped forward, her hand resting lightly upon her shield. I do not seek to bind, but to build. Let me walk between both. Let me speak for Olympus and for the earth, until balance is found. The silence that followed was long, heavy, filled with the weight of choice. Hera lowered her gaze, though her lips pressed tight with thought. Poseidon shifted, his trident tapping once against the floor. Apollo strummed a soft chord, a note of calm amid tension. Hermes flicked his wings, restless, but offered no jest this time. At last, Zeus rose, his scepter striking the marble with a single sound. So be it. You will walk between. But know this, Athena. If wisdom fails, the storm will not wait, nor will the sea. Athena bowed her head, not in fear, but in solemn acceptance. Her owl spread its wings, hooting softly, as if sealing the vow. The council ended, yet the chamber echoed with the gravity of choice. Athena turned once more, her path set between gods and giants. Above her, Olympus shone bright, proud, unyielding as the sky. Below her, the earth rumbled, restless, yearning, alive with ancient voices. And between both, she walked, steady, carrying wisdom as her shield. Athena descended from Olympus, the echoes of the council still heavy in her mind. The marble halls faded behind her, replaced by clouds and open skies. Her owl flew ahead, cutting smooth lines through the shifting air. She carried no weapon raised, only her shield resting at her side. The task was clear, to walk between giants and gods, without faltering. Below, the earth stretched wide, fields rippling like waves in the wind. Forests whispered, rivers shimmered, mountains stood tall as guardians of silence. Yet silence was no longer whole, for the giants stirred beneath it. Athena reached the foothills where stone met sky and valleys opened. There she paused, listening, feeling the tremor that pulsed through the ground. The owl circled once, then landed, watching with bright golden eyes. A shadow rose in the distance, vast, slow, heavy with purpose. Another giant awakened, its body like a mountain reshaped by time. It lifted its head, its voice low, rolling deep as thunder. You returned, sky daughter, though chains have long been your kin's gift. Athena stepped forward, her voice calm, her words precise and clear. I bring no chains, nor do I come with storms or fire. I come with your voice carried in my heart to Olympus. The giant's gaze narrowed, as if weighing truth against memory. Its breath stirred trees, bending their crowns toward the earth. Words may be carried, yet words vanish like mist before sun. Athena nodded, acknowledging the wound beneath the sound. Then let words not vanish. Let them take form in paths we walk. Tell me your longing, as your kin spoke beneath the plains. The giant tilted its vast head, silence stretching like shadow. At last, it spoke. Its voice cracked, but filled with depth. We long for a place in light, not buried beneath stone. We long for steps that do not shake the world to fear. Athena listened, every word carving itself into her heart. Her owl shifted on its perch, silent, watchful, unblinking. You long not for conquest, but for presence, for belonging. The giant bowed its head slightly, as if in solemn agreement. But the gods above fear what your rising may bring. Its voice rumbled with sorrow, not anger, deep as caverns. They see storms in our steps, and quakes in our breath. Athena lifted her shield, showing its polished surface. Look into this, not as weapon, but as mirror of truth. The giant leaned forward, its reflection shimmering upon bronze. It saw itself vast, rough, yet also steady, rooted, enduring. Is this what they see? It asked, voice low, uncertain. They see what shakes the world, but not the roots that hold. Athena's words flowed like calm waters, soft yet resolute. But I will speak of both, the tremor and the root. The giant closed its eyes, breath steadying like wind before dawn. If you speak true, then carry this also. We do not seek war. We seek remembrance, a place beside, not beneath. Athena inclined her head, solemn as marble, steady as oak. Then, remembrance shall be my offering to the throne above. The giant straightened, its form towering but no longer looming. Around them, the earth grew still, the tremors softening. The owl spread its wings, calling once into the silent air. Athena turned, her path leading onward, deeper into the valleys. More giants would rise, each with voices long suppressed. She would meet them, hear them, and weave their truths together. Above, the sky remained bright, yet clouds gathered at the edge. Storms brewed unseen, for not all in Olympus trusted her path. But Athena walked steady, carrying more than words now. She carried the fragile thread between two worlds, and with each step, she wove it stronger, against silence and storm alike. Athena moved deeper into the valleys, where shadows stretched long beneath towering cliffs. Her owl guided her path, circling above with steady, watchful grace. The air grew thick, filled with whispers carried on the wind. These were not mortal voices, but ancient echoes bound in stone. The ground beneath her feet pulsed gently, alive with hidden rhythm. Athena paused, listening, sensing the nearness of another awakening. From the cliffs, boulders shifted, and earth loosened with slow weight. A form emerged, vast and solemn, shaped from rock and moss. Its eyes glowed faintly, dim embers within a mountain's face. The giant stretched upward, shaking dust like rain across the valley. Its voice came slow, deep, and resonant, like rivers under stone. Daughter of wisdom, why do you wander where mountains breathe? Athena inclined her head, her words calm as still waters. I walk to listen, to carry your truths where heavens gather. The giant's gaze narrowed, its breath stirring storms of dust. Truths are heavy, and gods above are quick to cast them aside. Athena raised her shield, showing its gleam without raising it to strike. Then let me bear the weight, even if others turn away. The giant bent lower, its vast shadow falling across her form. Others before you promised, yet silence swallowed their vows. Athena's eyes shone, her voice firm, her spirit unbending. I am not others. My word is bound by wisdom, not pride. The giant studied her, its silence deep, like canyons waiting for echo. Finally, it spoke, voice softened with sorrow hidden beneath stone. We long not only for light, but for memory in the song of time. We fear not chains, but being erased like mist at dawn. Athena stepped closer, her hand brushing the earth with reverence. No voice should vanish, not sky, not sea, not earth below. Each has a place, each must be remembered, else harmony breaks. The giant's eyes brightened, glowing steady like fires kept alive. You speak of harmony, yet gods are not gentle in their pride. They build thrones high, while roots thirst deep in silence. Athena nodded, her gaze steady, her voice carrying clarity. Yes, they forget, and their thrones cast long shadows across soil. But I will remind them, as surely as dawn follows night. The giant leaned closer, its voice almost a whisper of stone. Do you promise not only to speak, but to remain when storms rise? Athena placed her hand upon her shield, her vow clear. I promise to stand, not above, but between, as bridge not wall. Silence stretched, vast as sky, heavy as earth beneath. The giant finally bowed its head, a gesture rare, profound. Then I will wait. But if silence returns, mountains will roar. Its form settled once more, half hidden, yet no longer hostile. The earth stilled, as though it too had listened and agreed. Athena turned, her owl flying ahead, guiding her path onward. Behind her, the giant remained, resting but awake, remembering. She walked on, knowing each step carried more than promise. She now bore the memory of giants, woven with their sorrow. Above, clouds gathered, their edges dark with doubt and storm. Olympus stirred, for whispers of unrest had reached godly ears. Some doubted her cause, others feared what giants might demand. Athena pressed forward, unshaken, her purpose burning like steady flame. The valley opened into plains, wide and golden beneath sun. In the distance, more tremors stirred, signs of others yet to wake. Her task grew heavier, yet her spirit did not bend. For wisdom thrives not in ease, but in trial and in wait. And so she walked, carrying balance within her step, her gaze forward. Athena walked into the golden plains, where tall grasses swayed like waves beneath the sun. Her owl soared high, scanning the land, its shadow fleeting across the earth. The air was warm, yet the ground trembled with a steady, growing rhythm. It was not the wind, nor the movement of beasts, but something deeper. She paused, feeling the heartbeat of the earth echo beneath her feet. The grasses parted as another form rose, vast and slow, like a hill unshaped. A giant emerged, taller than the others she'd seen before. Its body shimmered with veins of crystal glowing softly in the sun. Its voice was low but clear, like chimes struck deep within caverns. Daughter of wisdom, you walk far, yet the weight grows heavier. Athena raised her gaze, calm yet resolute, her shield glinting faintly. I walk because silence is heavier still, and I will not let it endure. The giant studied her, its crystal-lit eyes reflecting both sorrow and flame. We rise not to strike, but to breathe in skies long denied. We rise because memory buried too long breaks the earth itself. Athena nodded, listening, her voice steady, her tone unyielding. I have heard your kin, and each speaks with longing, not fury. But Olympus sees only tremor and shadow, not the roots beneath. The giant lowered its gaze, sorrow flickering like light upon stone. They fear us, and fear blinds them, turning every step into storm. Athena stepped forward, her owl circling close, its wings cutting silence. Fear may blind, but wisdom will guide if they are willing to see. I will carry your voice, as I have carried those before. The giant bent low, its form looming yet no threat in its shadow. Then carry this truth also. We do not wish to break. We wish to stand, to be remembered, to be part of the song. Athena placed her hand upon the soil, grounding her vow in earth. Your song will not be lost. I will speak it where thrones gather. The giant's breath stirred the grasses, bending them like waves in wind. You speak with clarity, but will your kin listen or turn to storm? Athena lifted her eyes, her voice ringing steady across the plain. If they choose storm, then I will still stand as shield of truth. The giant regarded her, silence deep, then slowly bowed its head. You are unlike others. You do not speak with chains but with bridges. Its words carried weight, a gift, a trust, a fragile beginning of peace. Athena inclined her head, her promise silent but steadfast in her heart. The tremors stilled, the earth calming beneath the giant's settled form. It remained half risen, half resting, but its eyes glowed with quiet hope. Athena turned, her path stretching onward, endless yet clear. The owl flew ahead, its wings glinting in the golden light. Each step she took bound her vow tighter, her resolve unshaken. Yet far above, Olympus stirred with unrest, clouds darkening the sky. Some gods doubted her mission, others whispered of danger uncontained. The balance grew fragile, stretched between storm and silence. Athena pressed forward, her stride steady, her mind burning bright. She carried not only voices now, but hope itself, delicate and strong. Hope that gods and giants might one day stand not as foes, but as kin. The sky over Olympus glowed with the last light of day, painted in shades of fire and gold. Athena stood at the edge of the mountain, her owls circling high above. The voices of giants lingered within her, heavy yet steady like a song. Each step she had taken carried their memory, woven into her spirit. Now the summit called, where thrones of gods rose in solemn majesty. Clouds gathered low, whispering with thunder that never broke. She walked forward, her shield at her side, her heart calm but unyielding. The gods had assembled, their eyes bright as stars, their gaze fixed on her. Some faces were stern, others shadowed with doubt, and few softened with care. Zeus himself watched, his presence vast, like storm restrained in sky. "Athena," he spoke, his voice rumbling across the summit. "You return changed." Athena bowed her head, her words clear and unshaken as stone. "I return not alone, but carrying voices that must be heard. They are not cries of war, but songs of remembrance and place." The gods stirred, some restless, some frowning, their thrones shifting like clouds. Apollo leaned forward, his light flickering with curiosity and unease. "What weight do you carry, and why should Olympus bear it?" Athena raised her shield, letting it gleam but not as weapon, as mirror. "In this shield are not wounds, but reflections of what we choose. If we turn away, shadows deepen and harmony is broken." Hera's gaze narrowed, sharp as flame, yet her voice carried thought. "You ask us to listen to those long kept in silence. Yet silence was chosen to protect balance, not destroy it." Athena's eyes met hers, steady as dawn breaking through mist. Balance built on silence is not balance, but fragile illusion. True harmony sings when each voice is remembered, not erased. The mountain trembled faintly, as though listening to her words. Thunder rolled softly, not in anger, but in waiting. Poseidon's trident struck the stone, his tone deep as the sea. If we awaken them, storms may rise beyond our control. Athena answered with calm, her voice flowing like rivers. Storms come not from remembrance, but from neglect and fear. They do not seek to drown, only to stand where roots belong. Zeus lifted his hand, silencing the murmurs of the council. His eyes, bright as lightning, studied Athena with grave weight. "You speak with courage, and you carry truths unshaken. But can you promise that their rise will not unmake the world?" Athena placed her hand upon her shield, her vow firm. "I promise not to unmake, but to weave, to bind, to bridge. If we deny them, we fracture more than stone, we fracture ourselves." Silence followed, vast and heavy as the night sky itself. At last, Zeus lowered his hand, his voice calm but resolute. "Then let it be so. Their song shall not be silenced. But the burden is yours, Athena, to guard this fragile bond." Athena bowed deeply, her heart steady, her purpose clear. The council dissolved, some uneasy, others softened by new thought. The storm above dispersed, clouds parting to reveal clear stars. Athena turned from the summit, her owl swooping low to greet her. She walked down the mountain, each step lightened by fulfilled vow. The giants waited still, scattered across valleys, cliffs, and plains. They stirred gently, not in anger, but in quiet recognition. Their voices echoed in her spirit, steady, woven with hope. And so Athena carried their song, not only to gods, but to time. A song of memory, balance, and the harmony of all things. The battle of giants, had never truly been of fists or stone. It was a battle for remembrance, for place, for voice. Athena had chosen to stand not above, but between, as bridge. And in that choice, dawn rose brighter than storm ever could.